If you're not able to toot your own horn, even though what you've done may be tremendous, even though what you've done may be of extreme importance to others with whom you work, you're not going to rise to the degree that you could if you could get your point across. So, what can you do when it comes for making your point, asking for something that represents a huge leap, and taking the plunge into the realm of becoming professionally assertive? Let's take, asking for a raise. That's a big deal with most people, and it represents something that makes a lot of people nervous. After all, what if the boss says no? After all, what if you're flat out rejected or you hear something that you don't want to hear? Rest assured, there are effective ways to ask for a raise, and we're going to review them right now. Suppose you've got a meeting with your boss, and maybe he or she doesn't even know what it's all about. Maybe you've decided as a result of your efforts in the last quarter, last year, whatever, it's time for you to gain an increase in salary. You've earned it, you know it, and now it's time to present your case. First thing you want to do on the path to being professionally aggressive, and that is getting more of what you want more of the time, is determine in advance how much you actually want. This has to be in line with other factors such as the pay range for your position, the budget allocated for your department, and so on. If you can't find these things out, try to determine what a reasonable percentage would be. For example, have others in your firm received 8% raises? Have they received 4% raises? So by getting comparison information, you'll be on a firm footing. Next, ask your boss for an appointment, or if where you work that happens to be too formal, ask him or her to carve out some time, after lunch, whatever it happens to be. The point is, you two need to be alone. You need to be able to talk for at least a good 10 or 15 minutes, and you need to know that there won't be any interruptions. You're going to be making a case that requires your boss's ultimate attention, and any distraction during that meeting is to your disfavor. So, secure away a day and a time and a place where you know you can have an effective 10 or 15 minute stretch. It might be possible to do this at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, or maybe even at lunch if the two of you go out to a picnic table or to the far corner of the cafeteria, or maybe even out to a restaurant that's relatively quiet and certainly has no other employees from your company around. All of those can represent pretty good settings. Now the question comes up, should you tell your boss in advance whether or not what this meeting is all about? Many times the answer is no. Many times you want to be able to spring this as a new idea so as to diminish any counter points that the boss might make if he or she is given a sufficient lead time between the time you ask for the raise in a meet. He or she is given sufficient lead time to prepare rebuttal. So in other words, you want to catch the boss somewhat off guard. Once you're face to face and ready to talk, make sure that both of you are seated. If you're standing, it's too easy for the conversation to meander or to be curtailed. The boss might be called away. You might feel uncomfortable standing your ground for so long. If you're seated, you're guaranteed to get a little more time and probably a lot more attention. And this holds true for many other elements of being assertive on the job. When you're seated with somebody, you're likely to get a higher degree of the kind of attention that you want to get. Now, after a few moments of greeting or catching up with some other